Hello, my fellow flutists. James Brinkman here. I'm really excited and curious to start a new project today that I wanted to share with you. It's the left-hand flute project. Yes, it's true. There are left-handed flutes made out there. Viento Flutes makes a left-handed beginner flute that is exactly the opposite of the flute that most of us play. My former teacher, Mary Stolper, happens to have one, and she showed it to me. She said I had to try it. So I have this flute now, and she said it's not only fun, but that practicing it is going to open my eyes to what it's like to be a beginner again. And as a teacher, that's really fascinating for me because it's been 15 years since I started playing the flute, and I kind of forgot what that was like, but I still teach all these beginners every year. So thank you, Mary Stolper, for lending me the instrument. I'm going to be practicing this flute for 30 days, 20 minutes a day, which I figure is the average that a beginner might practice. I'm going to be videotaping my practice sessions and talking about the challenges, sharing my observations and insights while I'm practicing. So that way, what I'm learning and experiencing might be able to help us as flute teachers, help us to relate to our students better. And I'm hoping that's going to broaden our perspective as teachers and performers as to what it's like to be a beginner again. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to be playing a mini recital with some solos and maybe a duet if I can manage it. All right, let's get going. So today is day one, practice session number one. This is what the Viento flute looks like. I've been opening a right-handed flute case for 15 years. So I just naturally, grab it and go like that. Grabbing this flute it's just weird to see it in its opposite form, and I don't know how to grab it almost. So we're just going to start with the barrel, I guess. And put it on. Jeez. When Mary Stolper gave the left-handed flute to me, she recommended that I practice over a soft space in case I drop it. So I'll be practicing in my bedroom today just in case I drop it. So the balance of this flute just feels so weird because the rods are on the opposite side. Students have a hard time sometimes lining the flute up, and I'm definitely I'm just struggling to, I think that's right. Yeah, okay, hey! So there it is. It's definitely pulling across this way. Maybe that'll stretch out my other arm. So with beginners, I like to start with bag, B-A-G, B-A-G, and then fed, F-E-D, F-E-D. So I'm going to try and do the same type of thinking on the opposite hand. B-A-G. Okay, this hand does not want to hold the flute right. It's going to take me like 20 minutes just to hold the flute. That's going to be the practice for today. I'm noticing two things already. Yeah, I'm definitely noticing my right arm is getting really tired. And then I'm pressing really hard right here. I don't know what this hand's still doing. We'll figure that out later. Hot cross buns. Is this F? Yeah, okay. Yeah! So there's our low C. Jeez. E to D. Pain. That is a pain. Practice thing tomorrow. D to E. D to E. Feel like so one thing I definitely tell my beginners a lot is, you don't have to press the keys really hard. Um, yeah, when it's brand new, I'm like pounding the keys right now because I'm really hoping that I'm pressing the right keys. On my normal flute, oh, this feels so much better. We don't ever go. That's not a pattern we ever use, so it's completely foreign, which is good. Maybe I'll have better finger dexterity on my normal flute then. Okay, so E to D. Okay, that's good for today. Let's try a C major scale. Got my pinky, of course. That's not D. Okay, how do I finger D? There it is. Okay, there's D. Oh, that was special. Oh, this thumb. Gosh. This hand is a mess. Jeez. Okay, so C major's kind of a mess, but I gotta say I'm really grateful that I can already make a sound on the flute because holding this thing is hard enough. Some interesting observations playing that. I noticed that once I went over the break going from C to D and trying to go up into the second octave, my flute started sliding around a lot and I couldn't hold it. And I've noticed that my beginners do that a lot. Well, maybe not a lot, but it definitely happens, especially when they are starting to think about some of the more complex fingerings. And what do I normally recommend holding it here more, just using the balance points, so the chin, this finger, and I guess now this thumb. So I'm going to try that, and we'll see if that gets any better. Oh my gosh. Okay, so C is really hard to hold. And I even understand balance. Poor kids don't even like know what the balance is supposed to feel like. Yay, C! Okay, let's keep going. Oh my gosh. That's not E. A lot of times I tell my students like, which finger are you thinking about? This finger, this R3, 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 okay. It's not even D, oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like I'm not allowed to give my beginners a hard time at all this week going from C to D to E in the middle register. That's hard. That is really hard. Once I go past that, it's fine because you're just lifting one finger at a time, which is how I explain it to my students, and they generally tend to do well with that. But man, going around that break when all of a sudden your fingers have to switch is just like, that is kind of a mess. So we're gonna try it. E, I have to think about keeping this finger down. Ah! I got it going up. So have you ever had a student, I'm going to switch to the other flute right now. Have you ever had a student complain about, in their left hand, this, I call it the squishy, it's the little soft part above the index finger knuckle. And I've only been playing for like 12 or so minutes and it's already hurting. So maybe practicing 30 minutes straight is not a good idea, and we should recommend our beginners practice in little sessions, like 10 minutes. Sometimes I've done that, sometimes not. I don't know. That might be a regular recommendation now, though, is like 10 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, so that you're not hurting, so they're not hurting at all, because that's not fun. All right, so my goal today is to get through the C major scale and arpeggio. We're doing the arpeggio as a bonus round today. We'll see what happens. Jeez. Alright, the C major scale and the C major arpeggio on a left-handed flute for day one. Today was a very humbling experience. There's some rough things in terms of that C to D to E natural, that is a mess. But it's been an interesting first 15 or 20 minutes on the flute, and I feel like I made some progress. It's interesting to see how far you can come in just 20 minutes. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and practicing it again. And I hope you guys will join me for the left-handed flute project. It's going to be quite the adventure, I think. So now it's time to put this flute away. Okay, so I'm trying to put it in. Of course, I naturally go over here. Well, that's the foot joint. So we're going to put that there. So I'm trying to figure out how to put this flute away. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Yes. Okay. Awesome. I got the left-handed flute back in the case. Until tomorrow, happy practicing.